Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Star Wars channel. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe it's been a long day in your own galaxy, or maybe you're just ready to drift among the stars, where peace, balance, and memory whisper like wind through the Force. There's nothing you need to do now but rest. Let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts float like ships in hyperspace, and let your heart grow quiet and still, because tonight, we're not just falling asleep. We're journeying across the glowing path of the Jedi and their sacred blades, from the birth of Kyber to the legacy of lost masters, from the hum of crystal to the silence after a duel. This is your peaceful voyage through the story of lightsabers. 100 sleepy facts, each one a flicker in the dark, each one a light to dream by. Now close your eyes, and may the Force be with you, always. 1. The first light in the galaxy. Long before the Jedi walked the halls of Coruscant, before the Republic reached for the stars, there was only silence and the Force. In the ancient days of the galaxy, stories tell of the Rakatan Infinite Empire, beings who forged the earliest blades of energy. Primitive and wild, these weapons hummed with unstable power, tethered by cords to bulky generators worn upon the back. These were not yet lightsabers, but echoes of what would one day be. The glow of these early sabers flickered like lightning trapped in glass, casting shadows upon forgotten ruins. They were raw, unrefined, a spark in the darkness, and somewhere in that spark, the seeds of the Jedi Order began to stir. 2. When Kyber crystals began to sing, not all crystals are silent. On certain worlds, hidden, sacred, there are stones that shimmer with the voice of the Force. They are called Kyber crystals, and they do not simply exist. They listen. To walk among them is to hear faint whispers, soft vibrations, a call meant only for those who can truly hear. Jedi younglings describe the sound as music without instruments, or wind without sky. These crystals choose their bearer, not the other way around. And when the connection is true, when soul and stone align, the Kyber glows, and the saber is born. Somewhere in that quiet resonance, a bond is formed that will last a lifetime. And another light begins its journey. 3. From metal to energy. A new era of combat. Before lightsabers, warriors relied on metals. Beskar, durasteel, and sharpened blades that clanged and sparked in battle. But when the Jedi discovered how to channel a Kyber crystal's energy into a blade of pure light, everything changed. No longer bound by weight or edge, the saber became an extension of the self, responding not to strength, but to focus, to feeling, to the Force. A lightsaber does not slice, it hums. It sings as it moves, trailing afterthoughts of light through the air. In a galaxy filled with chaos, this weapon became a symbol, not of war, but of serenity. And in its glow, the path of the Jedi unfolded like starlight on water. 4. Force-sensitive blacksmiths of old. In the earliest temples on Tython, there were artisans unlike any others, Jedi smiths, who could hear the harmony between metal and crystal. They were not warriors, but weavers of light, crafting hilts as sacred instruments. Using the Force as both guide and flame, they forged each saber with intention, not for conquest, but for communion. To them, every lightsaber was a song waiting to be sung. No two were alike, no blade was ever rushed. Some etched quiet prayers into the hilt. Others carved names, or left them blank, knowing the saber's true story would be written in time. And in the stillness of their forges, the future of the Jedi slowly took shape. piece by glowing piece. 5. The proto-saber, ancient and tethered. Before the sleek, elegant lightsabers we know today, there was the proto-saber, heavy, unstable, and bound by wires. These early designs required a power pack worn on the back, connected by thick energy cables. Clumsy and vulnerable in battle, they were nonetheless a marvel, proof that light could be wielded like steel. Jedi of that time fought with burdened grace, limited by technology, yet guided by purpose. The hum was louder, the energy flickered, and the wielder had to move with patience and care, lest the cord be severed. Even in those early days, a duel between two proto-sabers was a quiet dance of honor. And as the sparks fell to the floor, the galaxy waited for something even brighter to come. 6. Jedi Smiths of Ossus. On the world of Ossus, where trees grew tall over sacred libraries, Jedi Smiths refined the art of lightsaber crafting into quiet mastery. They worked beneath vaulted stone arches, where holocrons glowed like fireflies, and the Force flowed through every corridor. Here, Jedi did not simply build their weapons. They listened to them, meditated with them, and allowed the blade to reveal itself over time. The hilts were engraved with symbols, balance marks, and runes of old, not for power, but for harmony. Even the crystal's placement was done in silence, with hands guided by feeling, not design. And when the saber was complete, it was not tested in battle, but in stillness. For only in stillness could one truly hear the Force sing through light. 7. The rise of the modern lightsaber. As the galaxy turned and technology advanced, the lightsaber evolved. From the cumbersome proto-saber into the sleek, refined instrument of light we know today. Internal power cells replaced the heavy back-mounted generators. Energy gates became more efficient. Kyber crystals resonated with greater stability. Now, the weapon could be carried, ignited, and wielded in a single breath. But even with this progress, the Jedi did not rush to draw their blades. The saber was still a last resort, a final echo when all other paths had fallen silent. And in this restraint, the lightsaber found its truest form. Not just a tool of battle, but a promise that peace was worth protecting. And through that promise, the Jedi stood as guardians of the light. 8. A symbol of peace, not power. To those who walked in the light, a lightsaber was never meant to conquer. It was a reminder, a glowing line drawn in the air, saying, "This far and no farther." It represented the Jedi's vow to defend the innocent, to stand in the space between darkness and despair. In the hands of a true Jedi, the saber remained still as long as it could. It was a tool of resolve, not reaction. Even in the heat of war, many masters chose to deactivate their blades first, inviting calm rather than conflict. And when the blade did ignite, it was with sorrow, not anger, because every swing was a choice, and every silence a deeper strength. 9. The meaning behind the blade. Each lightsaber tells a story, not only of its maker, but of its journey. Scratches along the hilt may speak of narrow escapes. The curve of the design might reflect a master's graceful stance. Some Jedi created sabers that folded or hid within canes, as if to whisper, "I carry light, but I do not flaunt it." To the Sith, a blade is domination. But to the Jedi, it is reflection of balance, of self, of the living Force. There are those who say a Jedi does not choose the saber chooses them. And when hilt and heart align, the sound it makes, that hum in the still air, is like hearing your own spirit breathe, a soft reminder that the light is alive. 10. Jedi trials and the first ignite. For every Jedi youngling, there comes a quiet moment, deeper than any lesson, more intimate than any sparring match. It is the journey known simply as the gathering. Guided by their masters, younglings travel to a sacred place, most often the crystal caves of Ilum, where the Force itself awaits. Inside, they search not with sight, but with stillness, listening for the crystal that calls to them and only them. When found, the crystal begins to glow, and the bond is made. The return to the temple is met with silent reverence. The building of the saber is done in peace. And when the blade ignites for the first time, it is not a cheer that follows, but a breathless hush, as if the galaxy itself holds still. 11. Kyber, living crystal of the Force. Kyber crystals are not mined like ore. They are found like wisdom. They live in their own way, attuned to the Force, resonant with emotion, vibrating softly in the presence of life. Each Kyber is unique, and each has its own quiet temperament. Some pulse with calm, others hum with quiet curiosity. When held by a Jedi, the crystal responds, not to command, but to connection. Some Jedi have said they dream of their crystal before they find it. Others speak of a warmth in their palm, like holding sunlight. In the heart of every saber, a Kyber crystal rests, not as fuel, but as soul. And in its song, the Force speaks softly, guiding the path ahead. 12. Crystals choose the Jedi. Many believe that the Jedi seek out Kyber crystals, but the truth, whispered among masters, is simpler and stranger. The crystal chooses the Jedi. In the silent caves, thousands of crystals lie hidden. A youngling may pass by dozens, but only one will shine. It may seem small, flawed, faint, but to the Jedi it belongs to, it is perfect. The Force makes the match, an ancient harmony between soul and stone. Even the color of the blade, which emerges only after the bond is sealed, is shaped by this relationship. And so, the saber is not built. It is discovered. A gentle meeting of light and purpose beneath the surface of the Force. 13. The colorless beginning. When a Kyber crystal is first discovered, it is clear, pure and without hue, like a droplet of frozen light. It holds within it infinite potential, untouched by ego, untouched by conflict. Only when it bonds with a Jedi does it begin to glow, not with fire or heat, but with resonance. The color that emerges is not chosen. It is revealed. A reflection of the Jedi's inner self, shaped by purpose, temperament, and path. Some glow with tranquil blue, others shimmer in green, or burn with the rare violet flame. But all colors are valid, all are true, and in that quiet glow, a new chapter of the Jedi's journey begins to unfold. 14. Why the Jedi's blades? Glow blue and green. Among the Jedi, two colors have stood the test of centuries, the calm azure of guardians and the rich emerald of seekers. Blue sabers are often wielded by those who protect and defend, Jedi knights who walk the path of strength and justice. Green sabers belong more often to the contemplative, Jedi consulars, who seek harmony through wisdom and connection. But these are not rules, only echoes, for the Force is fluid, and no Jedi is defined by color alone. Still, when a saber flares to life with green or blue, it evokes something ancient. The memory of peacekeepers in golden robes, standing at the edge of conflict, holding back the dark with only light. And in their glow, the galaxy feels a little more whole. 15. The mystery of purple. Then there is violet, a blade rare as a shooting star, one that hums with both serenity and storm. Purple sabers are almost never seen, and when they do appear, the Jedi who wield them often walk a path between, strong in the light, but unafraid to touch the shadows. It is a color of balance, of boldness, of quiet intensity. Not dark and not defiant, simply different. The most famous of these was Mace Windu, a master whose presence shone like lightning in twilight, unwavering and wise. His saber shimmered like dusk on water, a color that needed no explanation, only reverence. And beneath its glow, the Force whispered of things deeper than words. 16. Yellow, guardian of balance. There is a warmth in yellow, like lanterns flickering through ancient halls or suns rising over quiet temples. Jedi who wield yellow blades are often temple guards, watchmen, sentinels, those who walk the middle path between knowledge and strength, between stillness and vigilance. Their sabers burn with a steady glow, neither loud nor boastful, but ever present, a guiding flame in dark corridors. They are not driven by ambition, but by duty, to protect the sacred, to defend the unseen. Rarely are their names remembered in grand histories, but their presence is felt in every corner of peace. And when they draw their golden blades, it is like lighting a candle against the void, quiet, unwavering, eternal. 17. White, cleansed and pure. White lightsabers are not forged. They are healed. When a kyber crystal is corrupted by pain, twisted into red through hate and suffering, it may one day be redeemed, not through battle, but through compassion. This act, known as purifying, is rare and deeply sacred. The result is a white blade, luminous and silent, untouched by darkness or tradition. Ahsoka Tano's sabers are perhaps the most famous of these. Pure light reclaimed, wielded not in the name of the Jedi, nor the Sith, but for life itself. White does not judge. It does not proclaim. It simply is. And in its quiet glow, there is a sense of deep, cleansing peace, as though the Force itself has been allowed to breathe again. 18. The bloodshine of the Sith. Not all lightsabers are born from harmony. The red blades of the Sith do not emerge from bonding with kyber, but from domination. A Sith does not earn their crystal. They steal it, torture it, bend it to their will until it bleeds. This violent process causes the kyber to crack and weep, glowing crimson with agony. A color born not of truth, but of control. And yet, even in these blades, there is sorrow. For once, these crystals sang like all others, until silence was forced upon them. When a red saber ignites, it howls. It burns through the air like a scream. But if the Force has taught us anything, it is this: even the broken may one day heal. 19. Bleeding kyber crystals. To make a crystal bleed is to shatter harmony. The Sith, fueled by rage and conquest, corrupt the kyber by pouring their pain into it, overwhelming its voice until it breaks. This act does not come easily. The crystal resists, cries out in the Force, and only through suffering does it turn red. Each crimson blade is a scar, a wound both visible and eternal. It is why the Sith sabers pulse with violent light, why they scream instead of hum. But what has been bled can be healed. And some Jedi, brave enough to reach through darkness with compassion, have taken these broken crystals and quieted them once more, turning crimson to white and suffering into serenity. 20. Voices within the crystal. If you place a kyber crystal close to your heart and listen with more than your ears, you may hear it speak. Some Jedi describe the sound as singing, others as a low pulse, like a heartbeat beneath water. Every kyber carries a memory of the Force, of the galaxy, of those who have walked the path before. Ancient masters believed crystals remember each battle, each meditation, each choice. When a Jedi ignites their saber, they are not alone. They carry generations within the glow. A lightsaber is not merely a tool, it is a companion, and when it hums, it is not just energy flowing. It is every quiet voice of the Force, rising gently into the light. 21. The heart of the saber. Deep within every lightsaber lies its heart, the kyber crystal, suspended in place by delicate energy fields, focused through intricate lenses. Around it, the hilt is built with reverence. No part is accidental. Each screw, emitter, and cell designed to channel harmony. But the crystal is always central. It is the soul, the source, the reason. When a Jedi meditates, they often rest their saber beside them, not as a weapon, but as a mirror, because to understand the blade is to understand the self. In the heart of the saber lies the heart of its wielder, and when both are still, the Force flows like a river of stars. 22. Kyber Fields of Ilum. Far from the crowded lanes of the core worlds, past nebulae and forgotten moons, lies Ilum, a frozen world bathed in starlight and silence. Beneath its icy crust, crystal caverns stretch like veins of light, hidden and ancient. It is here that many Jedi younglings undertake the gathering, a rite of passage where the Force calls them to find the crystal that belongs to them. The caves are cold, yet filled with warmth, not from fire, but from presence. The crystals glow softly in the dark, like stars resting in stone. Jedi walk in alone, but leave changed. And in the heart of Ilum's stillness, a bond is formed that will guide them for the rest of their path. 23. Jedha's Singing Stones. Jedha, a world of dusty winds and ancient prayers. Long ago, pilgrims from every corner of the galaxy came here to listen, not to speeches or sermons, but to the quiet song of the kyber deep beneath the surface. In the sacred city of Ni Jedha, monks known as the Guardians of the Wills honored the crystal's presence, not through control, but through devotion. They believed kyber was the voice of the Force, and that to hear it, one must first become still. The Jedi respected this belief. Many came to meditate among Jedha's ruins, where crystals shimmered faintly within the rocks. And even after empires rose and fell, the whisper of the stones could still be heard, softly singing beneath the sands. 24. A crystal's whisper. Not all crystals shout their presence. Some speak only in silence. There are Jedi who wander long through the caves of Ilum or the deserts of Jedha, hearing nothing at all until they pause, breathe, listen, and in that moment of surrender, the crystal reveals itself. It may glow faintly, or hum like a memory, or simply be. This is how the Force speaks, not through thunder, but through quiet knowing. The Jedi do not take the crystal. They approach it with humility, and when it accepts them, the bond is gentle, like a light touch on the soul. And from that moment forward, the saber is no longer just a blade. It is a companion in the Force. 25. The living Force in solid form. To many Jedi, the kyber crystal is more than a mineral. It is the Force made solid, condensed light, shaped not by time, but by meaning. It grows in sacred places, where the veil between energy and matter is thin, and when held, it resonates with life. Not just the Jedi's life, but all life. Some say the kyber responds to emotion. Others say it mirrors the wielder's spirit. But all agree. To build a saber is to form a living connection. a conversation between will and wonder. In that union, the crystal becomes more than an object. It becomes presence, and in its glow, the Force does not simply surround you. It walks beside you, quietly, like an old friend. 26. 7 forms of lightsaber combat. As the Jedi Order matured, so too did the art of the blade, until it became a dance of 7 forms, each a reflection of the wielder's heart. These were not created to conquer, but to bring balance between thought and motion, peace and power. Form Y, known as Shicho, was the foundation. Wide arcs, strong sweeps, calm breathing. From there came precision, defense, agility, and finally, passion tempered by mastery. Each form was not a set of rules, but a path, and Jedi trained for years to find the one that resonated most with their essence. To move through these forms was to meditate in motion, and each swing of the saber became a whisper of the Force, drifting through the air like wind through ancient trees. 27. Shicho, the first form. In the early days of the Jedi, before war twisted the galaxy, the first lightsaber form was born, Shicho. It is sometimes called the determination form. Steady, sweeping, uncomplicated. Its movements are broad and flowing, as if the wielder is painting arcs of light across the air. It teaches balance, presence, the courage to stand firm without aggression. Younglings begin with Shicho because it feels natural, like water finding its path downhill. Masters still return to it when they seek clarity or wish to reconnect with the simplicity of the blade. It is the breath between battles, the silence within the swing. And even now, among stars and sabers, Shicho remains the quiet heart of lightsaber combat. 28. Soresu, the circle of defense. There is a form that speaks not of attack, but of stillness, not of power, but of presence. It is called Soresu, the third form, and it is the embodiment of defense. Practitioners of Soresu move in tight, efficient circles, their blades catching every strike like ripples in a pond. They do not lash out. They do not rush. They wait, breathing, with the Force, letting aggression exhaust itself. To watch a Soresu master is to witness calm within the storm, a dancer of light who never tires, never yields. Obi-Wan Kenobi, serene even in battle, was its most elegant practitioner. And in the stillness between each block, there is peace, for the blade, like the Jedi, remains centered, always. 29. Itaru, the dance of wind. If Soresu is still water, then Itaru is wind, leaping, spinning, soaring through the air with radiant motion. Form of 4 is for those who trust their bodies as much as the Force, who meet danger not with walls, but with motion. Itaru is a kinetic art, filled with aerial flips, rapid strikes, and wide arcs of energy. It is graceful and bold, flowing like a storm through narrow corridors or open fields. Yoda himself wielded Itaru, his small frame moving like a green flame through battle, unpredictable and radiant. But Itaru is not for the weary. It demands strength, clarity, and trust. Each motion must be pure, or the dancer may fall. Yet when it is mastered, the Jedi moves like the Force itself, free and unbound. 30. Form by the counterstrike. There's a form that does not retreat but responds. That turns defense into a path forward. It is Form V, known as Shien and Gem. So, the way of the counterstrike. It was born when Jedi questioned whether defense alone was enough. Why absorb a blow when one could redirect it? This form teaches strength through control, parrying blaster bolts back to their source, turning an opponent's momentum into their undoing. It is not aggressive, but it is assertive. A saber held firmly, a stance wide and grounded. Anakin Skywalker favored this form, powerful, deliberate, unrelenting. But within its might lies a warning. The line between justice and domination is thin, and the blade must be guided not by ego, but by the Force. 31. Niemann, the balanced path. Among the 7 forms, Niemann is the calm in the center, the path of moderation, integration, and inner peace. Sometimes called the diplomat's form, it blends techniques from the others into a graceful, fluid whole. Its movements are smooth, neither too fast nor too forceful, perfect for Jedi who value thoughtfulness over theatrics. Niemann encourages harmony, not only between mind and body, but between action and intention. It allows the wielder to move with quiet confidence, defending without provoking, striking without cruelty. Many Jedi who walk among senators, sages, and seekers choose Niemann, a form that reflects their role as peacemakers. And in the soft rhythm of its flow, one can feel the stillness of the Force, gently guiding each step. 32. Juyo, the ferocity within. There is a form few dare to master, one that dances on the edge between light and fire. Juyo, the 7th form, is fierce, unpredictable, and emotionally charged. Its strikes are explosive, its footwork chaotic. It calls for total immersion, not just of body, but of soul. Only those with unwavering discipline can touch its power without being consumed. Mace Windu, who danced with both shadow and clarity, channeled Juyo into a refined variant called Vapad, allowing darkness to pass through him, never take root. But even in its most controlled form, Juyo is a storm. It is passion without hatred, strength without surrender, and in its whirlwind of motion, there lies the final test of a Jedi spirit. 33. Form 0, victory without combat. There is a lightsaber form that requires no blade at all. The Jedi call it Form 0, the art of restraint, the mastery of peace. It teaches that the greatest victory is the one that never requires a fight. The duel avoided through wisdom, empathy, or simple silence. Form 0 is not taught in sparring arenas, but in quiet halls, in moments of patience and choice. A Jedi who practices it enters a room and changes its energy, not with presence, but with peace. They draw no weapon. They offer no challenge. And still, they shift the course of destiny. For the calmest waters can change the shape of mountains, and the quietest path can carry the greatest strength. 34. The Makashi dueling style. Makashi, Form 2, is a whisper of elegance from a more civilized age. It was born in an era of saber-to-saber duels, where battles were not about brute force, but balance, finesse, and timing. Its practitioners move with fluid precision, tracing arcs of light as though painting the air with intention. The stance is poised, the footwork deliberate, the strikes economical. Every motion says, "I see you, and I know where to stand." Count Dooku wielded Makashi with refined grace, his curved hilt saber spinning like a dancer's ribbon, each motion filled with aristocratic calm. It is a form of conversation more than combat, a dialogue of light and posture, and in its silent rhythm, there is beauty, even in conflict. 35. Jarkai, twin blades in harmony. Some Jedi choose not one blade, but two, a style known as Jarkai. In this form, the Jedi flows like mirrored flame, each hand moving in balance with the other. It requires not only skill, but serenity, for the mind must divide and yet remain whole. The dance of dual sabers is swift, precise, and difficult to follow, a river of light flowing in two currents. Ahsoka Tano embraced this form, her white blades weaving through battle with silent focus and graceful agility. Jarkai is not merely spectacle, it is equilibrium. 2 hands, 2 paths, 1 heart. And in the harmony of motion, the Force moves as if through a single thread of light. 36. Staff sabers and spinning light. In rare hands, a lightsaber becomes something more. A staff, long and double-bladed, glowing at both ends like a twin sun. These sabers require strength, balance, and awareness of every angle, every spin. The double blade can defend from every direction, create distance, and overwhelm with its speed, but in the wrong hands, it becomes chaos. Only those with calm at their core can tame its brilliance. Darth Maul wielded such a saber with raw ferocity, a storm of red light and relentless motion. But others have used it with quiet grace, letting the staff rotate slowly in still air, a wheel of light circling their body like a guardian, a reminder that sometimes the best defense is presence. 37. Precision over power. A Jedi does not seek to overpower. Instead, they wait, listen, respond. Their strikes are not wild but measured, like ripples upon water, flowing only where needed. To wield a lightsaber well is not to cleave through stone, but to touch only what must be touched. A single motion may be enough, a well-timed parry, a quiet nudge. Masters teach that every swing carries intent, and if that intent is clouded, the blade becomes unsteady. Precision, then, is not just about aim, but about clarity. The mind must be still. The breath must be calm. Only then can the blade move like moonlight. Soft, sure, and exactly where it is meant to be. 38. The art of disarming. To disarm is to win without harm, a Jedi's quiet goal in every confrontation. With a turn of the wrist, a shift in momentum, a subtle pull through the Force, the weapon is removed from the opponent's grasp. And in that moment, the battle ends before it begins. There is no triumph, no cheer. Only a soft breath, shared between two beings now freed from conflict. Disarming requires more than skill. It requires compassion, the willingness to see the opponent not as an enemy, but as a soul who has lost their way. Many Jedi train years for this single moment, the moment of mercy. For to remove a weapon is to offer peace. And in that stillness, the Force sighs in relief. 39. The Jedi's elegant way. The Jedi's use of the lightsaber is not flamboyant. It is not brutal. It is elegant, flowing, controlled, and born from an inner calm. Their movements are taught to reflect the very philosophy they uphold. Do no more than is needed. The blade is drawn only when all other paths have failed. And even then, the Jedi does not strike in anger, but with sadness and resolve. To watch a Jedi fight is to witness a moving meditation, each step intentional, each swing an extension of peace. It is said that the saber reflects the soul, and the soul of a Jedi shines with light. Even in the storm, they remain the eye, silent, centered, unshaken. 40. The saber as a mirror of the self. A lightsaber does not lie. It reflects its wielder's spirit, their calm, their struggle, their truth. The way one builds it, the way one holds it, the way it hums in their hand. All of it tells a story. Some Jedi carry curved hilts for fluid grace. Others build longer blades for reach, or shorter ones for precision. None of it is vanity. All of it is expression, not of ego, but of essence. In the quiet hours between missions, many Jedi sit in silence with their saber beside them, not as a warrior with a weapon, but as a soul with a mirror. And in that reflection, they come to know themselves. 41. The Temple Forge on Elam Deep. Beneath the icy surface of Elam, there is more than crystal. There is fire. At the heart of the ancient Jedi sanctuary lies the Forge, a chamber where younglings craft their first lightsabers under the soft guidance of the Force. The walls glow with reflected starlight. The Forge itself is powered not by flame, but by focused energy, purified by Kyber resonance. Here, the bond is made, saber to soul, hilt to hand. No two creations are alike. Every saber born here is a new voice in the chorus of the Jedi. And once the blade is ignited for the first time, the cave is still, as if even the mountain listens to that sacred hum. 42. The Crystals of Lothal. On the quiet plains of Lothal, far from the echoes of war, lies a place where the Force breathes gently through stone. Its crystal caves are hidden, not beneath ice, like Ilum, but within ancient rock, overgrown with time and silence. Here, Jedi have found Kyber crystals that pulse softly in response to presence. Not loud, not urgent, but ready. Ezra Bridger was among those who heard the call. His first saber was born of this quiet world, a place not known for conflict, but for stillness. Lothal's crystals are humble, but in that humility lies strength. The Force does not always shout. Sometimes it waits beneath your feet, whispering gently through the ground, waiting to be heard. 43. Sith temples and hidden red crystals. Not all crystals glow with harmony. In the forgotten corners of the galaxy, deep beneath the crumbled remains of Sith temples, lie fragments of Kyber twisted by centuries of shadow. These stones do not call with warmth. They seethe, whisper, wait. Here, the Sith do not bond with crystals. They conquer them, forcing pain into every facet until they bleed crimson. These corrupted Kyber shards, hidden in dark altars and obsidian vaults, hum not with clarity, but with suffering. The glow they emit is a warning of power taken, not earned. And yet, even in the deepest darkness, the Force is present, watching, waiting. For even the dimmest crystal may one day return to the light. 44. Dark Sabers and Ancient Mandalore. Before Jedi and Sith shaped the stars with their wars, there was a Mandalorian who walked a different path. His name was Tare Vizsla, the first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order. And the weapon he forged was unlike any other, the dark saber. Flat-edged and humming with shadow light, the dark saber glowed with ancient power, a bridge between warrior and mystic. After Tar's passing, the saber was kept in the Jedi Temple until the Mandalorians reclaimed it, seeing in it a symbol of leadership. For centuries, it passed through clans and conquerors, carried by those who would unite Mandalore. But beneath its dark surface still pulses a Kyber crystal, waiting for one worthy to wield both strength and balance. 45. Jedi, Younglings, and the Gathering. The Gathering is a sacred rite and a quiet turning point. When a Jedi youngling is ready to begin crafting their saber, they are taken, often in groups, to a place of deep connection to the Force. Elam is the most well-known, but other worlds have whispered their secrets too. There, the children must find their Kyber crystal, not through sight, but through trust. The caves test them, challenge them, reflect their fears. But those who listen, truly listen, always find their way. And when they return to the temple, holding the crystal that chose them, they carry more than a stone. They carry the first light of their journey, glowing softly in their hand. 46. The Ceremony of the First Ignite. There is a moment every Jedi remembers. Even as their hair grays and their footsteps slow, it is the moment their saber hums for the very first time. After the crystal has been found, and the hilt built with care and focus, a Jedi returns to a quiet chamber, alone, yet surrounded by the presence of the Force. There, with steady hands and a still heart, they complete the final alignment, and with a soft, rising sound, the blade ignites. The light is not blinding, but warm. The hum is not loud, but soothing, like a voice that has always been there, waiting to be heard. And in that glow, the Jedi sees their path, not in battle, but in being. The blade is born, and the journey truly begins. 47 Holocrons on Saber lore. Within the Jedi Temple, nestled deep in the archives, float ancient holocrons, glowing polyhedrons of memory, humming softly with the voices of long-past masters. Some contain teachings on diplomacy, others speak of meditation, but among them are holocrons devoted solely to the art of the saber, its forms, its rituals, its meaning. To activate them, a Jedi must focus their mind, open their heart, and allow the Force to guide the crystal keys within. When the holocron opens, it speaks, gently, patiently. You might hear Master Chindralik demonstrating parries, or Yoda recounting the importance of restraint. The knowledge is preserved, not as instruction, but as invitation. And in those flickering lights, the saber becomes more than technique. It becomes memory and legacy. 48 Temple Guards and the Yellow Blades. Among the halls of Coruscant's Jedi Temple walked figures in ivory robes and golden masks, silent sentinels who carried long sabers of amber light. These were the Temple Guards. Their names were not spoken. Their faces were hidden. Their duty was simple: to protect the sanctity of the Jedi Order. Their yellow blades shimmered with balance, neither too calm nor too aggressive. They did not chase glory or lead missions. They watched, waited, acted only when necessary. Many were Jedi Knights who sought a quieter path, a life of service without recognition. And in choosing their stillness, the temple felt safe, for they were not just wielders of the saber. They were guardians of peace and silence. 49 The light staffs of Tython long before the Jedi as we know them. There were the Jedi, mystics who studied balance between light and dark. On the ancient world of Tython, cradled by swirling force storms and silver skies, these early Force users carried light staffs, long-handled sabers with a gentle ceremonial glow. They were not built for war, but for harmony, tools of meditation, of guidance, of ritual. The light staff's blade hummed low and steady, extending with quiet dignity rather than sudden flare. Many Jedi forged theirs under twin moons, speaking soft mantras as they worked. Even in their raw form, these early sabers carried intention, not of victory, but of understanding. And in the forests of Tython, beneath trees older than memory, the Force watched in stillness as light took its first, careful steps. 50 High Republic elegance. In the golden age of the Jedi, the High Republic, lightsabers were crafted not just with function in mind, but beauty. This was an era of peace, exploration, and artistry. Jedi often adorned their hilts with precious metals, intricate filigree, and elegant designs that mirrored the architecture of Coruscant and the poetry of the stars. But these embellishments were never prideful. They were expressions of harmony, proof that utility and grace could coexist. Some lightsabers even bore inscriptions from the Raytani scrolls, or inlays of light-reactive stone that shimmered under starlight. To wield such a saber was to carry not only protection, but legacy. And in its delicate lines, the Jedi could feel the hum of an age when the galaxy breathed in peace. 51. Exotic hilts from Dathomir. On the dark world of Dathomir, where red mist coils through twisted trees and whispers ride on the wind, lightsabers take on stranger forms. Though the Night Sisters rarely use sabers, there are Force-sensitive warriors and exiles who craft blades imbued with wild, chaotic energy. Some use bones as hilt casings. Others fuse organic materials with metal, creating sabers that seem alive, pulsing, irregular, and sharp-edged. These weapons reflect the world that birthed them: primal, mysterious, unbound. While Jedi sabers sing in steady tones, these blades crackle, hiss, or wail. They are not evil, but untamed. And in their glow, the Force does not soothe. It howls, wild and wondrous, like thunder beneath ancient roots. 52. The Sabersmiths of Nth. On the now quiet world of Nth, lost to floods and shifting stars, there once lived a small enclave of Force-sensitive artisans. They were known simply as Sabersmiths, neither Jedi nor Sith, but devoted to the craft of lightsaber construction as a sacred act. Their forges were carved into cliffs above the sea, where ocean winds hummed through crystal chimes and starlight filtered through high, open ceilings. They shaped hilts by hand, often without tools, trusting the Force to guide their fingers. Each saber they created was unique, not just in form, but in feel. Some Jedi came seeking these artisans in secret, not for power, but for peace. And though the waters have since claimed Nth shores, the glow of those quiet sabers still lives on. 53. Hushed duels on Jeddah. In the shadowed alleyways and temple courtyards of Jeddah, lightsabers have crossed in silence, not in anger, but in understanding. The holy city once drew pilgrims, seekers, and Force adepts from across the galaxy. Here, duels were rare and sacred. Two Jedi might meet not to fight, but to test philosophy, to ask questions with blades instead of words. The sabers hummed low, arcs of light weaving through ancient dust, watched only by statues and sand. No strikes for death, no need for victory, just motion, reflection, breath. When the final blades dimmed, both duelists would bow, having learned something deeper than technique. And somewhere in that stillness, the Force grew quiet again. 54. Forgotten crystals of Jedi. Before Jedi, there were Jedi, the first beings to feel the Force not as light or dark, but as balance. They walked the surface of Tython, guided by the Force's tides, and forged weapons from what the world offered. Their crystals were not always kyber. Some were native stones, singing with power only in certain seasons. Others pulsed only beneath specific moons. Each was unique, attuned not only to the user, but to time and place. To carry one was to carry a story, a memory, a moment that would never repeat. Many of these crystals are now lost, buried under ancient soil or forgotten in ash. But when the wind moves just right across the stars, some say they still sing. 55. When lightsabers are lost. There is a sadness when a lightsaber is lost, not because of its value, but because of the bond. Some fall into chasms. Others are left behind after battles, buried in ash or swallowed by oceans. And some are simply set down quietly when a Jedi walks away from the path. Yet even without a wielder, the blade remembers. Crystals hold echoes of connection, of motion, of thought, of stillness. And when they are found again, years later, decades even, they still hum. As if whispering, "I remember you. I waited, and I still carry the light we shared." 56. Skywalker's blade, a legacy past. The blue lightsaber that once hummed in Anakin Skywalker's hand did not end with him. Passed down to Luke, then Rey. The saber crossed generations like a thread of destiny. Its hilt, worn by time, still shimmered with the energy of stars. It had been lost, falling from Cloud City's heights into silence. But it was found, repaired, reforged, and each new wielder added to its story without erasing what came before. When Rey ignited it for the first time, she felt not just the blade, but the weight of hope, loss, and the quiet pull of legacy. A saber is not bound by one name. It lives as long as its story is remembered, and this blade remembers everything. 57. Vader's saber, a blade of suffering. Red as fire, heavy as regret. Darth Vader's lightsaber pulsed with power and silence, a mirror of the man who wielded it. Built from the remains of Anakin's past, it was a weapon forged in pain, in betrayal, and in the cold shadow of the dark side. Its strikes were purposeful, brutal, yet beneath the rage, there was sorrow. Each motion a whisper of the Jedi he once was. The blade cut through warships, rebels, masters, but it never silenced the echo within. And when it was finally extinguished, cast away as Anakin returned to the light, the saber fell still, like breath held too long. Even in crimson, the Force was waiting for redemption. 58. Obi-Wan's patient flame. Obi-Wan Kenobi's saber glowed a calm, unwavering blue, as steady as the master who held it. It was not the most ornate, nor the most powerful, but it was loyal, reliable, a blade born of quiet strength. Through battlefields and heartbreak, from the boiling sands of Mustafar to the empty silence of Tatooine's deserts, his saber remained by his side, always ignited only when needed, never out of anger. To Obi-Wan, the blade was not a weapon. It was an extension of duty and compassion. Even in his final moment, when he surrendered himself to the Force aboard the Death Star, he held it not in fear, but in peace. And the hum of that final breath still echoes in starlight. 59. Yoda's saber, small, yet powerful. Yoda's saber was as compact as the master himself, short in length, but no less luminous. Its blade shimmered green with age and insight, carried through centuries of calm contemplation and rare but decisive battle. Though small, it danced with unmatched agility, spinning through the air as Yoda moved like a whirlwind of wisdom. But more often, it remained at his side, untouched, unseen. For the master preferred words to war. He taught that the saber is not what makes a Jedi. The soul, not the blade, is the true measure of strength. And when Yoda faded into the Force on Dagobah, his saber was left behind, resting among the roots. Still, quiet, watching stars pass like dreams overhead. 60. Mace Windu's amethyst. Will no blade in the Jedi Order shone like Mace Windu's, a rare and brilliant violet, cutting through shadow like dusk between day and night. His saber reflected the path he walked, strong, disciplined, balanced on the edge between light and darkness. He developed Vyapad, a form that let him channel fury without being consumed, facing darkness without surrendering to it. The hilt of his saber was regal, golden at the base, wrapped in metal and conviction. It struck with power, but never cruelty. In the hands of others, it might have burned, but in his, it glowed with righteous stillness. Even in his final stand against Palpatine, Windu's amethyst blade did not falter. It stood, unwavering, until the night swept in. 61. Ahsoka's white balance. Ahsoka. Tano's blades did not stay blue. After walking away from the Jedi Order, not in anger, but in sorrow, she would one day return to the light in her own way. The sabers she built then were white, not in defiance, not in allegiance, but in peace. They glowed with clarity, blades cleansed from corruption, crystals reclaimed from the Sith and purified through compassion. They hummed softly, like snow falling through silence. Ahsoka wielded them with grace, never with hate. They were the color of forgiveness, of neutrality, of quiet purpose. And in their glow, she became not Jedi, not Sith, but something whole. 62. Dooku's curved grace. Count Dooku's lightsaber was unlike most. Its hilt curved, elegant, shaped for the dance of Makashi. It reflected the man who held it, poised, aristocratic, deliberate. He did not favor brute strength, but precision. Flicks of the wrist, controlled flourishes, the fencing style of a forgotten age. Even as a Sith Lord, his saber held to that refined discipline. Its crimson blade did not roar, it whispered. Though turned by darkness, the way he wielded the saber never lost its grace. To cross blades with him was not chaos, but a duel in slow time, and with each step, each parry. The war between light and shadow played out like poetry. 63. Maul's crimson twin flame. Darth Maul's saber was a staff of fury, red at both ends, burning like twin suns caught in orbit. Forged in secret, trained for vengeance, Maul's double-bladed lightsaber was made to overwhelm. Its hum was louder, its reach longer, its danger constant. But there was rhythm in it too, a rhythm born of Dathomir's dark traditions, of silence twisted into motion. Maul did not just fight with it, he spun it, danced with it, like a storm made flesh. He was rage, yes, but also control. Pain, yes, but also purpose. And though his path was cruel and broken, his blade glowed with the truth of his suffering. It blazed because he could not. 64. Kylo's unstable fury. Kylo Ren's lightsaber was not smooth, not polished. It crackled with raw energy, unstable, volatile, alive with conflict. Its red blade, jagged at the edges, hissed through the air like an open wound. The crossguard design, with twin vents of fire at either side, was not style, but necessity. A release valve for the crystal's barely contained rage. The kyber inside had been cracked, not bled, broken, like its wielder. And yet, even in that chaos, there was meaning. Kylo's saber was honest, an outward reflection of inner fracture, of a soul pulled between shadow and light, and beneath the noise, a single, silent truth. Even the most shattered crystal still glows. 65. The reforged saber of Rey. Rey found the saber, Skywalker's saber, not by blood, but by bond. It called to her, not with words, but with memory. The echo of countless hands, countless battles, and something more. When the blade was torn in two, she could have abandoned it, but she did not. She healed it. With care, she reforged the hilt, binding it not with metal, but with golden thread, a quiet act of reverence. The saber ignited again, not as Anakin's, not as Luke's, but as Rey's. The same blue, the same hum, and yet something new. For the Force had chosen her, not as an heir to a name, but as a light reborn from within the dark. 66. The Darksaber, Shadow of Mandalore. The Darksaber is older than memory, darker than most. Its blade is flat, not round. Its light, not bright, but heavy, like night forged into form. It hums with low power, with ancient will, with the burden of leadership. Forged by Tari Vizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi, it became not just a weapon, but a symbol, passed from warrior to warrior, earned in battle, never given freely. To hold the Darksaber is to carry the weight of a people and their hope. Its blade resists the unworthy, grows heavier in unsteady hands, and yet It too is Kyber. It too remembers. And in the right hands, even darkness can become the light that leads. 67. Ezra Bridger's Blaster Saber Hybrid. Ezra Bridger was young, curious, and inventive. When he constructed his first lightsaber, it was unlike any other. A hybrid between saber and blaster. Its blue blade ignited with the press of a switch, but the hilt also fired stun blasts, a reflection of Ezra's scrappy beginnings and flexible mind. He built it not from rare materials, but from salvaged parts, proof that even a humble origin can house great light. This saber was not perfect, fragile at times, strange in form, but it was his. And as Ezra grew, so did his understanding of what the saber truly meant. In time, he built another, simpler, quieter. But that first hybrid, it hummed with creativity and the spirit of a learner. 68. Cal Kestis and the Broken Hilt. After surviving the fall of the Jedi, Cal Kestis carried a saber that was no longer whole. It had once belonged to his master, but now its hilt was cracked, its pieces exposed, the wear of memory visible in every mark. Yet Cal carried it anyway, trained with it, grew with it, and in that broken blade, he found strength. For the saber was not just a tool, it was a story of loss, of resilience, of hope. Eventually, he rebuilt it, forming a new lightsaber from the fragments of the past, stronger, wiser, whole. Because sometimes, what is broken is what teaches us how to begin again. 69. The Inquisitor's Spinning Terror. The Inquisitors, fallen Jedi turned hunters, wielded sabers designed not for grace, but for fear. Their crimson blades spun on circular hilts like wheels of fire, shrieking through the air with deadly speed. These sabers could hover, fly, and intimidate. Tools of control, of spectacle, of pursuit. To the Inquisitors, the blade was not sacred. It was a leash, a reminder of what they had lost and what they served. The spinning saber made them dangerous, but it also made them loud. And Jedi, who listened carefully, could hear the desperation beneath the sound, because in all that fury, there was no peace, only the echo of what they once believed in. 70. Ventress and her dual blades. Asajj, Ventress, carried twin red sabers, curved and graceful, yet fierce. They once belonged to her master, Count Dooku. But when he betrayed her, she kept them, not as loyalty, but as survival. With each spin and arc, her sabers cut through air like a tempest, dancing with bitterness, elegance, and pain. She was not Jedi, not Sith, not even truly free. But in her own way, she carved a path no one else could walk, and in time, she let the sabers go, setting them aside for something deeper, for love, for peace. In the end, she did not fall. She chose. And when her sabers fell silent, they did so with dignity. 71. The Grand Master's Hidden Crystal. Not all sabers are wielded in war. Some are kept hidden, not out of fear, but humility. It is said that certain Grand Masters carried sabers so rarely, few ever saw them ignite. Their kyber crystals, carefully chosen, glowed softly with age and contemplation, more talisman than weapon. These sabers rested in stone drawers, meditation alcoves, or beneath robes, waiting not for combat, but for clarity. And when they were finally drawn, the light they gave off was not blinding. It was quiet, as if the saber itself had been listening for centuries. And when it finally spoke, it did so in whispers. 72. Quinlan Vos and the Scent of the Saber. Quinlan Vos carried a green saber, but more often, he carried nothing at all. He was a tracker, a shadow, a Jedi who touched objects to feel their history, a gift called psychometry. When he held his saber, he felt the stories locked inside, not just battles, but emotions, impressions, memories. To Quinlan, every hilt had a scent, a feeling, a flavor of the Force. His blade rarely stayed in one place, passed from belt to cloak to hand, always ready, always watching. Though the war tested him and darkness called his name, Voss returned, not to the council, but to the path of compassion. And through it all, his saber glowed with the patience of one who had seen. 73. Revan's dual legacy. Revan, a name whispered in both reverence and fear. He walked as a Jedi, fell as a Sith, and returned once more, carrying sabers that told two stories at once. One was violet, flickering with balance. The other red, born of conquest and sorrow. His dual blades mirrored his soul, divided, questioning, seeking. But in time, Revan found a fragile peace not by denying the dark, but by understanding it. His sabers were lost to the galaxy, scattered like the fragments of his memory. Yet those who search the archives or dream deeply through the Force say the blades still hum in hidden places, waiting for another wanderer to walk the line between shadow and light. 74. Bastila's battle meditation. Bastila Shan was not known for fierce duels, though her golden saber shone like dawn. Her true power came not from combat, but from calm. She wielded a gift called battle meditation, the ability to align minds, soothe fear, and strengthen allies through the Force. In the heart of battle, her presence was a beacon, not just a light, but a clarity. Her saber rarely clashed in rage. Instead, it spun like a guardian wind, protecting those who could not protect themselves. Even in the darkness of Revan's fall, Bastila's blade remained steady, not because she had no doubts, but because she believed peace was always possible, even in war. 75. The lightsaber of a fallen friend. There are sabers that no longer sing, resting where they fell or kept in silence by those left behind. Some are buried beside their Jedi, others placed on temple altars or held quietly in memory. To carry the saber of a fallen friend is an honor and a weight. It does not forget its first hand. It still hums with their rhythm, their choices, their voice. And when ignited once more, it feels like a greeting, a whisper from the past, reminding the wielder they are not alone. Many Jedi carry such sabers not for battle, but for guidance. Because even gone, a friend's light does not vanish. It becomes the path beneath your feet. 76. A Jedi's bond with the blade. To carry a lightsaber is not like carrying a tool. It is a bond, delicate, constant, and alive. Jedi do not treat their sabers as possessions, but as companions, shaped by the Force, guided by intention. Many masters speak to their sabers while meditating, or place them beside them when they sleep, as if to share in the stillness. The blade is there in silence, never demanding attention, but always ready. It is not pride that forms this bond, but presence, because the saber remembers the Jedi's journey, and like the Force itself, it listens. Even when not ignited, the connection hums quietly, a warm thread between soul and crystal. 77. Why the saber is more than a weapon. It is easy to see the lightsaber as a sword, something made to clash, to defend, to end. But to a Jedi, it is not a tool of violence. It is a mirror. The way it is built, carried, and used reflects the wielder's heart. That is why some sabers are long and others curved, why some glow softly and others burn bright. The blade reveals more than strength. It reveals intention. And it is intention, not force, that gives a Jedi their power. A saber drawn in anger shakes, a saber drawn in peace, sings. And in that harmony, the galaxy remembers light can take form and still bring no harm. 78. The silence after the duel. When the clash is over and the blades are dimmed, there is a quiet unlike any other. It is the silence after a duel, not filled with triumph or defeat, but with breath. Whether the Jedi has won or lost, the saber is returned to its place, gently, respectfully, because the Force does not celebrate conflict. It sighs softly at its end. Some Jedi kneel after battle, their saber resting across their lap, not as a trophy, but as a reminder, not of what was fought for, but of what was spared. And in that hush, the blade becomes still again, waiting for peace to settle like dust on stone. 79. Building a saber, building oneself. The process of building a lightsaber is not merely mechanical, it is transformational. For a Jedi, every part assembled is a reflection of who they are, not just their skill, but their truth. Each hilt, each crystal, each tiny focusing lens is placed with care, often during deep meditation. And when the final component connects, it's not just circuitry that comes alive, it's identity. To build a lightsaber is to build the self, to honor what one has learned, survived, believed. And that is why the first ignition is so sacred, because in that quiet moment, the Jedi holds not just a blade, but the journey that led to light. 80. The balance in the hilt. Every part of a lightsaber serves a purpose, but beyond utility, there is harmony. The emitter, the pommel, the crystal chamber, all must align, not just physically, but energetically. A hilt that is too heavy pulls the wielder off center, too light, and it floats without grounding. The Jedi does not guess. They feel. Through the Force, they find the balance, not perfect, but true to them. For as each Jedi walks a different path, each saber must rest in the hand like a promise kept. And when that balance is found, the blade moves not ahead of the Jedi, nor behind, but as one. 81. Choosing to ignite. Igniting a lightsaber is not done lightly. In the Jedi way, it is the final answer to many quiet questions. Can I bring peace without this? Can I protect without harm? The activation of the blade is never instinct. It is decision. The Jedi feels the hum of the Force, listens for the stillness beneath fear, and only then, with steady hand and quiet heart, they let the light bloom. The moment is brief, but in that breath of ignition, something ancient awakens. Not a call to battle, but to balance. And the saber responds with a hum, as if to say, I am ready when you are. 82. The saber is a path, not a tool. Among the Jedi, the lightsaber is never just a tool to be wielded. It is a path to be walked. To train with it is to listen, not just to the hum of the blade, but to the rhythm of one's breath, the tension in the body, the whispers of the Force. A Jedi does not swing the saber to conquer. They move to understand. Each form, each flow is a question, and the answer is always in the stillness that follows. The saber is not there to dominate the moment. It is there to meet it. And in that meeting of light, of presence, of restraint, the Jedi learns not how to fight, but how to be. 83. The hum in meditation. Some Jedi ignite their sabers not for combat, but for calm. In quiet chambers lined with stone, they sit cross-legged, eyes closed, while the blade hovers beside them, its low hum blending with breath. The sound is soft, steady, like a lullaby sung by the Force itself. As the saber vibrates gently through the air, it deepens the connection, sharpening focus, quieting the mind, allowing emotion to pass like clouds across the stars. The color of the blade is reflected on the walls, like the glow of memory. And in this luminous stillness, many Jedi find clarity, not in thought, but in presence. Because sometimes, the hum of the saber is all the galaxy needs. To remember, it is alive. 84. When the blade is sheathed. The greatest lesson a Jedi can learn is not when to draw the blade, but when to leave it sheathed, to walk away from conflict, to choose dialogue over dueling, to meet anger with calm. These are the quiet victories of the Jedi path. A saber left at the side is not a sign of fear. It is a mark of wisdom. In the histories of the temple, some of the most honored Jedi were those whose blades were rarely seen, because they led with compassion, not defense. And when they did draw their sabers, it was like a final breath, soft, meaningful, necessary, a whisper of light, in a galaxy that often forgets how to listen. 85. Training remotes and quiet practice. In a quiet dojo within the Jedi Temple, a youngling stands with saber in hand, blindfolded, breathing slow. Before them, a small silver orb floats gently, then fires a sudden bolt of light. Without sight, the Jedi in training lifts their saber, deflecting the bolt with grace born not of reflex, but of trust. These are training remotes, floating teachers that ask for nothing but presence. They do not injure, they guide. And as the Jedi moves through their patterns, the saber becomes less a blade and more an extension of breath. In the stillness between strikes, the room hums softly. No shouts, no urgency, only the steady rhythm of learning and the patient whisper of light meeting light. 86. The weight of the invisible. To hold a lightsaber is to hold something strange, for it has no edge, no mass. And yet, it feels heavy, not in the hand, but in the soul. The hilt is light, simple to lift, but the energy blade, the hum of the force within, carries presence. Jedi learn to move not just with their limbs, but with awareness, sensing the unseen weight of every swing. The blade demands respect, not because it is dangerous, but because it is alive. And those who forget this often falter. A lightsaber does not guide with fear. It teaches through balance, the kind that cannot be measured, only felt. 87. The way of the guard. Among the Jedi, there are those who choose a life not of action, but of watching. They are the temple guards, keepers of silence, wielders of yellow-bladed sabers designed for peace through presence. Their faces are hidden behind golden masks. Their names are not known. They do not seek command, glory, or battle. They simply stand. At the gates of knowledge, beside the halls of memory, beneath the spires of the temple, they hold vigil. Not because danger looms, but because stillness matters. Their sabers rarely ignite, but when they do, it is like a bell in a forest, calm, clear, and final, a gentle reminder that the light does not sleep. 88. Respecting the opponent. In the Jedi way, to face another with a lightsaber is not to see an enemy, but a soul. Even in battle, there is room for respect. In the stance, the breath, the way the blade is held with restraint. Jedi do not strike to destroy. They strike to understand. A duel is a dialogue, a moment of shared silence, fear, purpose, and often pain. The blade moves only where it must. The heart remains soft, even as the hands remain steady. And when the fight ends, if both live, there is a bow. Not as tradition, but as recognition. Two lives crossed and still whole. 89. Light in the darkness. There are times when the saber is all that glows. When hope is fading, when the stars seem far, a single beam of light can feel like a sunrise. Jedi have wandered through ruin with only their saber to guide them, not as a weapon, but as a lantern in the dark. It lights corridors beneath fallen temples. It warms hands in frozen caves, and sometimes it offers comfort just by humming beside them. The Force does not abandon those who carry its light, and the saber, glowing in the void, reminds them they are never truly lost, for even the smallest flame can hold back the night. 90. Peace through the blade. In the end, the purpose of the lightsaber is not to win, but to end suffering, to end fear, to end the need for blades at all. The saber is drawn only when the Jedi has exhausted all other paths, and even then, it is a last whisper, not a first roar. Its glow is gentle, its hum soothing. And when the conflict is over, the blade is deactivated with reverence, not out of pride, but gratitude. Gratitude that peace was possible, that life endured, that the light still hums. And in that quiet, the saber returns to the belt, and the Jedi to the stillness of the Force. 91. The last ignite of a master. For every Jedi, there comes a moment when the saber is drawn for the final time. Not in fury, not in fear, but in understanding. Some face this moment in battle, others in sacrifice, a few in quiet solitude. The last ignite is not an ending, but a release, a final breath of purpose. The blade hums low, as if remembering every motion that came before, and when it is dimmed, it leaves behind no fire, only stillness. In the Force, the Master fades, not lost, but luminous, their light no longer seen, but felt. And the saber? It waits, patient as ever, knowing the journey never truly ends. 92. A saber buried in the sand. On Tatooine, beneath twin suns and shifting dunes, there are whispers of buried sabers. Some say they were hidden by Jedi fleeing the Purge. Others, left behind by those who chose peace over battle. The sand covers them like a blanket, warm and slow. Time forgets the hands that once held them, but the kyber inside still pulses, softly, faintly, like a heart asleep beneath the earth. Now and then, a wanderer may feel a stirring beneath their feet, a breath of light buried deep, not lost, just resting, waiting for the Force to call once more, and for the blade to rise, like dawn over endless dunes. 93. When the blade fades. A lightsaber does not truly die. Its energy may fade, its hilt may rust, but the crystal, the heart, remembers. Some blades are passed down, glowing anew in younger hands. Others are placed in shrines, temples, or ruins, still, quiet, reverent. The hum may fall silent, but the memory lingers. Because every saber carries more than light. It carries presence. And when one listens with the Force, truly listens, they may still hear its echo, far beneath sound. A note held forever in the song of the stars. A light, still flickering in the dark. 94. Ghosts holding hilts. There are times, rare and hushed, when the Force allows a glimpse of one who has passed. Force spirits, shimmering, serene, appear not as warriors, but as wisdom made visible. And sometimes they hold a saber, not ignited, but resting gently in hand. Obi-Wan, Yoda, Anakin. They appear not to fight, but to guide. The hilts they carry are no longer weapons. They are symbols of peace found, of paths walked, of lessons earned. They remind the living, you are never truly alone. For those who walk the light, walk with those who came before. And the saber, even in death, still hums softly beside them. 95. Tales pass through crystals. Within every kyber crystal lies a whisper, not of battle, but of memory. Some Jedi believe the crystal holds echoes of its wielder's journey, moments of stillness, clarity, sorrow, and peace. When passed from one hand to another, these crystals do not forget. A student may feel a flicker of their master's meditation, a calm that lives within the stone. And when the blade is rebuilt, the new saber carries both voices, old and new, past and present. The Force does not erase, it adds. And in this gentle layering of experience, the blade becomes not just a tool, but a quiet archive of all who have walked the way of light. 96. When the Force guides the strike. There are moments when a Jedi moves without thinking, when the blade lifts, turns, and lands with grace too perfect to plan. These are not accidents. They are moments of pure alignment. The Jedi is not acting. They are listening. The Force flows through them like wind through leaves, guiding the saber where it must go, to defend, to protect, never to harm, without cause. In such moments, time slows, the hum of the saber deepens, and the Jedi feels not like a wielder of light, but like the light itself, weightless, grounded, whole, a single breath, carried by the stars. 97. Dreams, beneath Kyber light. There are those who fall asleep with their saber resting nearby, not for safety, but for comfort. Its presence is familiar, steady, like the glow of a lantern just beyond the edge of thought. Some Jedi say they've dreamed of floating crystals, of distant stars, of sabers humming in ancient forests long forgotten. These dreams are not random. They are reflections. For the Kyber crystal does not sleep. It listens, even in stillness. And in that dream space where soul and saber meet, the Force often speaks in symbols, in color, in warmth, a river of light, a path without footsteps, a calm that follows you into waking. 98. A galaxy lit by 1,000 sabers. Across time, across stars, across stories, lightsabers have flickered to life in the hands of many. Blue, green, violet, white, yellow, crimson. Each blade, a voice, each wielder, a ripple in the living Force. From temples on Coruscant to caves on Ilum, from starships lost to history to fields glowing beneath twin moons. Sabers have brought hope, sorrow, redemption, and stillness. They have ended wars and begun healings. And when seen from far above, like stars scattered across the night, they form a quiet constellation. Each one a spark of purpose. Each one a promise kept. 99. The quiet between battles. Even in times of galactic unrest, there are moments of quiet. A Jedi in meditation, the saber resting beside them like a sleeping ember. No hum, no flame, just presence. The saber, like the Jedi, waits in stillness, knowing that battles may come, but peace is always the goal. These moments, unnoticed by history, untouched by legend, are sacred. For in them, the blade is not a tool, but a companion. It shares the silence, the breath, the trust. And in the space between duels, it reminds its wielder, you are more than this weapon, you are its light. 100. And still, the light remains. Sabers may be lost, crystals may fade, temples fall, masters pass, but the light, the true light, remains. It is not bound to a hilt, not confined to color or creed. It lives in choices, in compassion, in stillness. The saber is but a vessel, and the Force flows through it like wind through leaves, like breath through stars. And long after the hum has faded, long after the last duel is remembered only in whispers, the light will remain, soft, steady, endless, like a dream waiting just beyond sleep. And as our journey through the galaxy comes to rest, may the Force bring balance to your mind and peace to your dreams. If these stories helped you drift into the stars, remember to like, subscribe, and share which Star Wars path you'd love to fall asleep to next. When you're ready to keep dreaming, tap the end screen to begin your next bedtime voyage and fall asleep once more beneath the glow of distant sabers and twin suns. Rest well, traveler. The Force will guide your dreams. And even in the silence, the light remains, always